their standard agreement that they sent out.
Oh, and then we had our bond counsel review it, or what? Because we had to hire that bond
Yes.
counsel.
So,
what role
so
is
they
this
send a template, and then our bond counsel has to fill it all in and work with them to get everything put together.
All of that information came from the bond council.
person? Okay.
So they send a template, so it takes the rest of it.
Okay. But you
So I
think
don't
they
know.
were the ones who had the 20 and the 40? You don't know who did what?
Fun story, our bond counsel grew up in Clinton.
Yes, who is it?
Nate Canova.
I know Nate.
Yeah, this last time.
Yeah, his parents were in my ward. And so he was in my ward, but he was the oldest brother, so I taught him siblings in Sunday school.
And now he's good. He's
a
been
good
very
guy.
helpful. Yeah, but that's all it is, just to give you some wiggling negotiating room. It's almost set up like you haven't gone to the board and got all of their approval when you're going out.
Task.
With the way our project is set up with UDOT, we're able to go through. We're not in a hurry to
If
get
you
our
had two
money
tabs open,
up front, so we're able to work through the process.
Well, it
where
wasn't all.
Typically, you would probably be having your open house and your notice as you're still trying to negotiate things with water resources. So they've left it open to be able to negotiate that, where ours are already set. Because we've done it. Why they didn't change it, I don't know.
And it doesn't matter because those are caps, these are within the caps, so whatever, I guess.
Okay.
That's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts, though.
It's looking.
So they would typically have the caps on those other ones so that you could go and negotiate with them and then take in your final agreement what the.
Just-
Good.
Ours are.
Council member-elect presumptive.
Yeah.
It's the longest name ever.
Trevor, how much did we raise the water rate in, remind was it 276? 5, 6, something like that?
275, I believe. Or was it something weird like 271?
It was I thought it was a weird number because they wrote it down to hit this like 10% number.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't remember.
yes.
I have.
Ah, here's the guy you can ask
There he is.
questions about why it had 20 and 4% if you want.
I haven't seen Nate in a long time.
Once baseball season's over, we're done chatting.
No more friends.
We were just asking why the contract has the higher numbers, the cap of 4% and 20-year
The cell phone machine, right?
term,
Just needs-
rather than what was actually approved by the board, which was the 3, whatever, 15. Is it just,
Just a cushion,
okay,
so in case something changes between now and January, we don't have to come back.
but was that your choice to put, or was that just the board that they sent you, that's their regular language?
That's just standard.
Oh, okay, hello. Good to see you.
From well.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know. I don't exist. There we go. Found it.
Who's all cleaned up over here?
My facial hair is almost all the way.
There you go.
I guess I could have walked over on your right.
You're so self-conscious.
Cell phone machine.
I also feel like my neck
Oh,
is
so you're
this
doing
gigantic
the-
elephant thing.
No.
Yeah.
And just yourself, just make it like a training.
I agree.
We should just all. What? It's not.
I looked at it all, but just.
I opened up the little
Their
car.
little agenda.
I think about it Tuesdays. But it's actually the same side of So there is that, but I can't.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, that's okay.
It's I was sitting at the Salesforce So they like such. When I was in the States, I was like. Afterwards, it's like, Peter was there to ask me. It's probably. It's there. It's probably. In the front. Start talking. Yeah, something like that. You know, the real meetings coming in January, somebody talked to you about it. This is just procedural, just happy to answer any questions. Yeah, we got it. Yeah. A lot more action.
What's going on? Yeah. I like the shirt.
Thank you. I forgot it was council.
It's coming back.
It's coming back.
The one thing that I agree with Dennis 100%, he always said, meet the people where they are.
We can elevate it at a tiny level.
No, we're genius.
There you go. Oh, I'm just a firefighter. Yes. They made some crazy things. Suspenders. My wife, because I'm in the station.
Always there. Okay, so we ready? Recording, video? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to our council meeting. Is my microphone on? Okay. Just wanted to fool you, Derek, sorry.
Don't be doing that. We had that problem earlier.
Welcome, I'd like to open the city council meeting held November 12th at Clinton City Hall at 2267 North, 1300 West in Clinton, Utah. And call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and the following invocation by Councilmember Gordon.
Please stand for the pledge. And join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be gathered today to do the work of Clinton City. We're thankful for all the efforts of our staff and for the many hours of service that the public put in to serve each other, and we're grateful to live in such a beautiful place. We ask you please to help us to make wise decisions. Please guide us with thy spirit. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you, Marie. By the way, for those who are listening and don't recognize the voice, I'm Councilmember Searle, but tonight I'm Mayor Pro Tem Searle, as Mayor Stanger is unable to join us tonight. He has other business. We'll do a roll call with starting over on the left. Spencer,
Marie Doherty.
Jimmy Searle. All right, now we will open our public input section of the meeting. If any member of the public would like to address us on items not under our agenda, you can feel free to do so. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, and remember that if it's not on the agenda, as a council, we cannot address your concerns at this time, but if you have any concerns, we'll certainly note them for a later date. If anyone would like to come up, microphone's over here on my left. Chris, are you just playing with me?
I'm just
You look like maybe, okay, going once, going twice. Okay, we'll close the public input section of our meeting, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of the meeting minutes from our October 28th meeting, as well as approval of accounts payable from October 2025. Does anybody have any modifications or questions about either of those? I actually did have a few on some of the accounts payable. I was curious, Brooke probably knows, and this is probably a really simple answer, but there was like 5,400 and 3,400 to Salt Lake Warehouse Sports. I don't remember seeing that before. Uniforms or?
Probably Zach's,
Oh, that's probably Zach's. Okay.
because I haven't seen it before either.
Okay. Okay. I was also curious about, was it $6,000 at Sherwin-Williams? Did they have a big painting project or something I didn't know about? Anybody know about that one? 6,081 Sherwin-Williams?
Yeah, that was for our water department. We're doing a coating on top of our 500,000 gallon tank.
Okay,
Those materials for that.
and that's probably where the tank holding amounts from. Is that from the well project, or is that tank? There's 33,675 for tank holding.
Yeah, like,
If you know that one.
I signed all of these.
What's the GL number on it?
I don't know. Tank holding, there's two of them.
It's just a small packet of information, I guess.
Right. There's lots of pages tonight.
Do you have any other ones so I can do, trying to find those as well?
No, I did notice a lot of attorney fees, you guys see those on there? Multiple attorney fees this time.
That one was a catch up for a couple months of invoices, so.
That's what I figured.
It is spread out. That one was true. I'm not seeing. So I can. Yeah, we have the GL.
I wasn't overly concerned.
Sorry, I figured it out. That is for new garbage cans.
Oh.
They changed the name. It used to be rotational molding, but now it's tank molding. But yeah, that was for some new garbage cans.
Okay,
I don't remember the number, something like a couple hundred or, but they came in different batches.
yeah, okay. Okay, thank you very much. All right, any other questions or someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, very good. This is just a no roll call, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. Okay, that will lead us to our one item of business tonight. This is resolution 1325, authorizing the issuance and sale of water revenue bonds, series 2026. Let's see here, authorization. Let's see here, I think that's authorization to issue water revenue bonds and execute related documents. As you know, this is a $3.9 million bond associated with water lines being on 1800 North, correct? That's
Yes, it is for that, and there could be, mainly it's for that project, but there could be, if we find some other savings, it could be for, to offset the well project or other water projects that are.
okay. Any questions from council, Franklin?
Just one comment that I thought of. With regard to the public hearing, that's gonna occur in January, it says.
Correct.
And this is one that's required by law, in order to do this bond. Is there a way that we can ensure that there's a proper expectation for the public? Because it seems like there's a lot of work already gone into it, and so then the public hearing happens later in the process, right? And so we want the public to have the proper expectation of what their input would mean to us.
Right. Yeah, so we will be sending out notification to the public via our utility bills. We're required to send that out at least 14 days prior to that hearing, and so we'll be sending that out in December. And we can send another notice out in January prior to the meeting in January. And then that we can describe what the expectation is to receive public hearing. It states that in these documents as well, just receive public hearing on the issuance of bonds, whether the feelings of the public for encumbering that money for the city. So, obviously we can choose to not issue the bond at that point too, if that's what the council would like to do. But yeah, it's just a way for them to inform after we've done the legwork to the stuff ready to say, okay, we're to be issuing bonds, how do you feel about that? For the public? Is there anything else that you're wanting on top of that?
Yeah, just the idea that, like, to making it clear to the public what the consequence would be like if we don't do that, you know, because we can't just not replace that water line, or else we keep a 40-year-old ductile iron under 10 inches of concrete, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
something like that, so that they know that it's not, we're not just choosing it willy-nilly, we feel like.
Right, yeah, just kind of communicating that better of what the scope is. for
Yes.
the project president too.
Yes, like I would love that if the public had a sense of why we feel like we have to do it before we say, now we'd like your input. Does that make sense?
We do have a bond council here tonight. Do you have any questions for the bond council as well?
It's pretty straightforward.
Right, even though it's been a long time since we bonded for anything, none of us were here, right? At least on the Okay. All right, anything else? Spencer, anything from you? Okay, I would like to make a motion.
I move that we approve resolution 14-25, authorizing the issuance of water revenue bonds and executing the related documents.
I'll second. Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, do a roll call vote for starting this time over with, Councilman Tyler. Yes.
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 Yeah, very good. Motion approved, unanimous vote. Okay. Item B, Civic Center renovations discussion. I didn't see anything in the packet.
No, there's, we just want to have a kind of brief conversation. There's been some needs that have been popping up and we want to get the feel of the council on some direction and priority on some renovations that could be needed within the Civic Center campus. So the first item we have is that with the restructuring of putting Parks and Recreation together, part of that is to move our Parks Department operations center to be within the Recreation building. Currently, there's 4 cubicles available, but the proposal would be to create 2 office spaces within that area to accommodate more private meetings if needed for the recreation supervisors. Right now, we have a recreation manager who's Brianna, and then 2 recreation supervisors underneath her. And so when they would have to meet with staff, they would be in those cubicle areas. And so it just would facilitate an area to do that. So that's the first item. Brooke has some preliminary numbers on what that would cost-wise to create those office spaces. The next would be, we've been working on some restructuring within City Hall to separate our back office accounting functions from our front office cash handling, just to create better fraud controls there. And so we'll be moving our accounting team over to the administrative side of the building. And there's a potential to wall off 2 areas within that section to allow for the creation of 2 closed-in offices and to house those staff members, giving them just an office space within the area and consolidating all the back office into one area to accommodate that. So those are 2 of the most imminent, smaller costs. Here is just 2 walls, and there it's 3 walls with some ductwork and things like that to isolate those rooms. And down at the recreation building, I think the cost was around 12 to 15,000. Is that what?
For the frame. Yeah.
For the frame.
Frame, yeah.
Sheetrock.
Yeah.
And the HVAC work, and then some other costs on top of that for the finished work that needs to happen. And then there's some other needs that we've recognized just with kind of meeting structures and how we're functioning. So there's concerns, just kind of the safety with this building on using that back conference room as a work session room for the council. Just it's out of the sight of the public. It's harder to get to for the public, and so thinking of ways that we can move that meeting room out more towards the public facing area, and potentially give a little bit larger space so that the residents can sit a little bit more comfortably, not on top of the table. And so some thoughts are either renovating areas within the administration, open bullpen to create a better conference room, or there's space downstairs with a large waiting area for the court that's not being utilized at all, to wall that off. We don't have any numbers on what that total would cost, and so before we move forward on that, we wanted to see if there's an appetite from the council to explore that option. And then the third option with our customer service, we're looking at ways to maximize our customer service offerings within the city. And so, and to kind of consolidate some areas of customer service together. And so creating a larger customer service receiving desk here at City Hall. Right now, there's only 2 stations with a awkward ADA station that if somebody's at one station, they can't use it. So creating a larger counter space for our staff to receive public with the consolidation of our public or our community development, as well as further customer service actions from other departments that may be shifting around. So I just kind of want to start a conversation with the council on that, not being firm necessarily on all of them. Obviously, the ones that we have numbers on, we could get going on quicker if that's something the council's ready to go and okay with doing, or we can keep looking at different options on how to function. So just any questions you got. I know it's just I'm throwing stuff at you, but it's just I want to pick your brain because it's money and it's and that's tight.
Brooke, can you share some more details with us, like numbers and such?
Yeah. So, like he said, with the combination of recreation and parks now being one in one department, we're gonna pull over those people, right? And with our recreation supervisors and any parks supervisors that might be there, they're gonna need closed offices so that they can have conversations with the employees that are under them and not in an open area, right? So that, if there's reprimand that needs to take place, that can be in a closed office, where right now, yeah, we have 4 cubicle areas, but they're open for everybody to hear what is happening. And also with the cemetery coming over, we also need a place that they can go in and close the door with those families as well. So it's a private area, not just out where everybody is at, so that it can be a closed area. I know right now in the Public Works, they have a room where they go in with the families and meet with the families to go over their law options and those type of things. So what I did is I had 3 people come out and bid the framing, sheetrock, painting, all of that kind of stuff. And then I had a separate company come out and do the HVAC, because with the Nate, or building inspector, he wanted each room to have a return and a supply line for the HVAC. And then there will be need to be a little bit of electricity done so that each one can have its own light switch. Right now, they're all on just one light switch. And so I had three companies come out for each HVAC, electrical, and then the framing as well, for all of those.
So what's that total cost?
So that total cost for everything to be done would be $32,888. And that would give us 4 office spaces with doors and HVAC and all of the stuff that needed to happen to meet the code for the city. So,
In past meetings, we've talked about bringing somebody in as an employee, whether it's full-time, part-time, whatever, to do this type of work. Obviously, you can't do everything, right? You're not gonna find somebody who's an electrician and an HVAC technician and such that we can bring in full-time, but if you look into that more,
Yeah, we have in the budget to do a part-time building maintenance position. We put that out, and we did first round of interviews, narrowed it down to 1, and then they declined the offer. And so we need to put that out again, so we're still looking for that position. I think part-time is a little bit harder to find for that type of job, right? And so, we may be waiting for a little bit to see if we can get somebody on with that restriction, so.
do you have other stuff lined up that maybe could become a full-time job for a while? I mean, it sounds like we got a lot of stuff over the next few
And
years.
as we've been looking at it, we contract a lot of the work out, right? So any plumbing work that we do or any electrical work, Brooke gave an example, anytime she has to change light bulbs in her building, she has to contract somebody out to come do that, and it's just, $200 just to get them to come out, and then whatever materials they apply. So I think that there could be savings on all of that, to get somebody full-time to come in and do those things, because there's enough facilities to do that. The concern is just the impact of adding another full-time onto our books, right?
I don't think it'd take many jobs to recoup that, right? I mean, if you get $12,000 to build a couple walls of sheet rock, but a semi-skilled person could do that for $2,000-3,000, Trying to find someone who's willing to do it, right? So,
Yeah.
so keep trying.
It'd be hard, a part-time would be
Part-time
almost impossible.
Yeah.
Find someone with that skill.
Yeah, we had a lot of interest in it, but then some wanted a little bit more variability in their schedule, right? Because they're contractor somewhere else, and all like, yeah, we'll come in on the weekend, we'll do some stuff. And it's like, that we would like a little more oversight than that. So there's just it's just kind of a tricky part-time position. So you kind of have to get that perfect person who's like, hey, you just retired from sheetrocking, and I'd be into that. So.
Okay. Very good.
I'm just a little concerned. I see the need, and definitely there's a need there. I guess I just would want to be able to weigh it against our needs. Is it a real need? Is it a want? Or is it a need? I know the city has needs that probably are more critical, and I just want to make sure that we ask those questions. Does do we have radios for the police, fire? Do we have everything that they need? First and foremost, we obviously need money we go down the list of what we need and are falling behind on. Is this something that we could put off, unfortunately, another year? Especially with, the tax increase not going through. And I just rely on you to, and I know you have looked at those options, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't think it was a need.
And
Honestly.
I don't doubt that, I'm just wondering, is it that much of a need?
Yeah.
Well, to that point too, Brooke, when I talked to you a little bit about it, you mentioned that you might be able to pay most of this out of your facilities budget you have now, right?
Yeah, we could try to pull some from there too, and I've talked with Zach too, and he probably has some that he might be able to pull to try to at least, get most of it done, so.
And I think we're talking a couple different projects, your project plus the conference room is a separate project. And that one probably has a little bit less need than your projects. And so I just think we need to be very careful as we're considering, next year, definitely a tax increase. We want to make sure that we've done everything we can to button up our numbers. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so I can completely understand where you're coming from, wanting to have the space and, and have your own offices if you're joining Parks and Rec. I completely understand why you feel that way. I'm also feeling hesitant. And it's budget issues like you're describing, but also I have this hesitancy because I'm not totally comfortable with like a permanent a permanent upgrade like this, or I guess upgrade might not be the right, a permanent change to the structure, because I guess I feel like we haven't fully vetted our ideas for how our facilities are gonna be in the future, just generally speaking. Like I've had enough conversations over the months about the potential for using, the downstairs of this facility, and you know what I mean? I'm not totally convinced that we've like finalized how we want the departments to be set up as it is. And so to move forward with like a permanent fix like this feels premature to me. And so I'm balking at that idea.
Yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts about efficiency of space within all of our structures, right? And that's ultimately, there's going to be a point that I think that we will have to spend money to make that efficiencies happen. And I can appreciate where you're coming from, because there's, when you think of even the administration of the courts, we don't necessarily have to have a separate court from our council chambers, for an example, right? Those can be the same, functionally the same space, maybe a few modifications to create the efficient or the use there. And so does that opportunity open up ability to use the space differently downstairs if we made some modifications upstairs to utilize this room for court and for council, right? And so I think those conversations are definitely valid and need to have. As we looked at, some of those, some are the more immediate needs and what we think is like, I think these will work, right? But then there's still areas that, like, do we need to finish off those spaces in my area if we have a whole back half of our building over here that's not finished? And so is there an opportunity to in the future finish that differently? And so, yeah, as Brooke and I talked, that was one. We've talked a lot about how can we use your spaces more efficiently, and it is something that we're like, hey, we think that it would be helpful to have other offices. Now, if that doesn't happen, could we be flexible and make it work until we finalize everything? Absolutely, but that's, Brooke and I have really studied what that looks like there. But it is a larger price tag than I think we both initially anticipated it being, right? And so it's like, now we're reaching, and that's why we wanted to bring it to the council, because like now we're reaching to a point where it's outside our scope to just say, okay, administrator, we can build on a ballroom on the east wing, we don't know about it, right? But no, there's some, sorry. Just some logistics that we have to work out as a council, and so that's what we want to bring it to. But there is some, I think a larger concern is the customer service desk for me here because I do feel like as an organization we have a lot of customer service spaces. And is there some efficiencies we can have to combine some of that or fix that? And we're still working out that operationally what that would look like, but creating more receiving space, because there are times that we're on top of each other, right? That we're reviewing plans at the front desk and making payments. And there are some times that happens, not all the time. But as we look at that, it might be more efficient to put out the desk there to make that receiving.
That has always been an issue with me. I don't think I've ever expressed it, but that's way too small. You can't have all that going on right there and be efficient and have the public feel like they're not crammed with someone else trying to pay the utility bill. Yeah, I agree, that needs to happen, but when?
Can this wait till the next budget year? I mean, how?
Yeah, I think we can look at how we make this work for now and see kind of how things were unfolding and see what issues come up and say, oh yeah, we're having a really hard time making this work. And then formulate a little bit, engage maybe an architect to just give it a look at our efficiencies, and I think we could probably find somebody to kind of look and give suggestions, and then we can prioritize that with the next budget cycle and see.
Staff meetings or, council meetings are gonna be easy, they're gonna be, next year, you're not gonna have any issues, so nobody's ever gonna show
They're all
up, so
done.
it's gonna be plenty of room in that conference room.
I have Gary on record saying that. Question for you.
We could move to the other room.
My question, Trevor, about customer service is just part of like a larger conversation as well with like if we're moving forward with different things we've talked about, trying to like streamline that, like how many people are we getting? Is it a huge amount that are coming into that space, or is it kind of dwindling as we advance more things online and stuff like that? So,
We're always gonna get people that come in. We're not always stacked outside the door, miles down the road, right? So, but there are times, especially around shutoffs and things like that we can get pretty stacked up in there. And then we did, and you can blame me on this one, we did move the community development on the other side of the hall. Those conversations aren't frequent throughout the day, but when they do happen, they are often longer than a 10-minute conversation, right? And so a lot of thought is like, how can we create a receiving area for that group of people that's closer to the front, that's easier for access for everybody, and we're not sending and winding through the back hallways or having them come behind a secure area where the cash drawers are, right? How can we consolidate that? I feel that by creating one customer service area, it's really helped kind of create an easier location for our residents when they come in. But yeah, logistically, it's a little bit difficult. And so that's the concern there, is that there are sometimes it's busy because we have shut-offs or we have, bills go out, or, it's payday for Social Security. And so a chunk of the population that likes to come and make their day out at City Hall, and that's what they do, right? And then there's some clientele with our community development that are just the longer conversations, right? I'm putting in a driveway, or I'm putting in a gazebo in the back, and we've got to talk about setbacks and look at codes and walk them through zoning. That takes time.
I get the needs there, for sure, we're not denying that.
Yeah.
So.
All right, is there anything else, Trevor?
So, well, I guess taking this, we'll kind of keep working through kind of scenarios, and then see if we can get more information ready for the next budget conversations.
Okay, very good, thanks. Okay, we'll go on to reports. I didn't see anyone from the planning commission. Anything you know of to report?
Peter did not give me any reports on last planning commission, so I don't know if there's anything.
I think they canceled it.
I think they canceled it, if I remember right.
Okay. Anything from the city manager?
Yes. There are those National League of Cities trainings that are available if you would like to go to them. There's a one-day Utah rate that's significantly less than a full conference cost. So if you are interested in doing that, there is a free meet and greet on the 21st, I believe, at the Museum of Illusion in Salt Lake that is open for you and families to go to. This is for any incoming, already seated or, exiting council members. You're welcome to come, mix and mingle with Utah, leagues, cities, and towns there. So just let me know if you want to get registered for any of that, and I will get going on that. There's a lot of things coming up on the legislative docket, dealing with taxes and land use. So, nothing definitive yet, but we've heard rumblings on a lot of different things from, single family zoning and, minimum density requirements or even changes to the taxation processes or, so it's gonna be a hot legislative session, so, I'd encourage everybody to go to the LCT, website and look at what they have so far. They're gonna be posting and publishing more information as those come along, but, and once the legislative session heads, go sign up to receive the alerts on all the bills that you wanna see and watch, and it's gonna be an exciting one, I think, this time. And we'll spend a lot of time up at the legislature, I'm sure in the months of January to March, so.
Very good, thank you. Do you have any dates that we need to be looking forward to to the end of the year?
Yes, so there is the special session next week on the 18th. That's where we're appointing to fill Austin's vacancy, and certifying canvassing election as well. And then right now, there's nothing on the agenda for the week of the 25th. We don't see anything pressing to put on that agenda, or anything that needs to go there. If there's something that comes up, we'll let you know, but right now, there's nothing that we see on that one. And then December 9th, we have a kind of full meeting, ready to go. And that most likely will be the last regular city council, because the other one would fall on the 23rd of December, which I'm guessing not everybody's gonna wanna do, maybe not the day before Christmas Eve, I guess, let's call it. Christmas Eve, the Eve and the Christmas Eve. So that's the major things that we have coming up. What is that name?
When are we getting together? In December?
Oh, for our, we need to schedule that, so, it'll be our party. We are gonna be planning, kind of a thank you party for, going away to the officials, so, we'll be letting you know details on that and getting a few updates on that as well, so. I'm trying to think if there's anything other than that, and then just after that, we do have, the, oath of office that will take place in the first part of January, so.
Good, thanks, Trevor. All right, staff reports, we'll start over here. Dave, do you guys, Public Works, have anything?
No, we're good.
Okay, Brooke? Bryce?
No.
Yeah. Chief and Chief? Nice. Finance?
Oh, yes, we do. Get up here, Corey.
You're gonna make it Corey introduce himself?
Wow, it's like, why did I even come?
I did have I had it on my list even. I'm so sorry, Corey.
I was gonna have the radar and be happy about it.
So everybody, I would like to introduce you to Corey Christensen. He is our finance director, administrative services director extraordinaire.
Oh boy, that's a fancy title.
We're excited to have him here. His first day was our department head retreat, and so he got to listen to all of us talk all day. So it was a great way to onboard, I guess.
He's the miracle worker that you talked about?
He's the miracle worker.
He can stretch.
He's gonna find money.
Always
That's
likes
his job.
something that you
I told him that.
grow on trees.
In the interview process, I said, I need you to find as much money as you possibly can. So he said, I'm good at that, so. I'll let him introduce himself to you.
Yeah, Corey Christensen, resident of Clinton, so
excited to be part of the work that goes on in Clinton City. I don't know that I need to do much more introduction than that.
What are your hobbies?
Hobbies, I've got 5 kids, so I don't have any hobbies right now. I used to have a lot of hobbies.
Soccer, dance, right?
Well, I used to have a hobby of soccer myself, and that ended a while ago. Now I'm just giving kids to their things, trying to get my 9-year-old son who likes running, so I'm trying to get back into running shape because he can beat me, and I'm a little disappointed in myself for that. But spend time with family, movies are great, and doing whatever I can. Hiking is a big thing. I have do a lot of hikes with some of my siblings down in Utah County. So we'll be out there on top of your house.
Oh,
Thank you.
we were looking for the answer of metal detecting, so that you go out and find more money that way, and then searching couch cushions.
Dividing rocks is really what it is. I'll see if I develop any interest in those over time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey. Anything from the courts? Lisa, you have anything for us? Okay, council report, Spencer, you have anything?
No, nothing for me. Thanks, everybody, for being here and doing what you do.
I have mosquito abatement this week, so I don't have anything new on that front. And then, yeah, I just went to a league meeting too, or a Zoom one, and also would just say the same thing as Trevor, buckle up for the legislative session, so that's it.
I mean, busy.
So, the league had their 30-year vision meeting. I know Marie was there, most as well as Trevor. Something I think the citizens of Clinton would be interested in, it was after we came in. They started the meeting with a map showing what they learned last year.
Are you talking about Wasatch Regional Council?
Sorry,
Okay.
the vision meeting, Wasatch Regional Council. Sorry, you're right, yeah, so the Wasatch Regional Council, yeah. They started the meeting with a map that they created based on the input from the previous meeting, where they asked all the cities, they give a presentation on different types of town centers, and they asked every city to, if you wanted a town center in sometime in the next 30 years, which type would you like and where would you put it? Anyway, the map was color coded from white to red, and yellow and orange and so forth, and the darker the color, the more dense the area, just so the citizens understand. Clinton City was almost pure white. There was a little bit of yellow in the area that we identified as a potential location for a town center well into the future. We will be by far the least dense city on the map by a long ways. So I know there's lots of talk about New Clinton and, high density and stuff, but they certainly got the message from us that our plan is not to be a dense city, it's to continue to be a bedroom community. Right? Is there anything you'd add from that meeting?
I think that the best thing that came from that meeting, a lot of it was to care for transportation, and kind of meeting transportation needs. We had a lot of great conversations about, the upcoming extension of 177, and then the further north that goes, and how that kind of impacts our 1800 north access. And we had a lot of great conversations with a lot of good stakeholders from UDOT and from others about what that impact would be. We're working to try to push UDOT further to get it on at least the environmental study. Bryce and I have been having conversations with Region 1 Director and others about that. And so that's a big priority for us to try to get the widening of 1800 from 2000 down to 3650 or wherever the road goes through. I think it's around there. At least because of the impacts we've seen from 3000 West recently. So, and then a lot of conversations about, UTA connectivity, TRUS connectivity. It was really interesting exercise to just talk about kind of our connection needs and how to stay connected within the area. So.
Okay, thanks. Also, reporting from the sewer district. So the sewer district is now officially in the farming business. the sewer district purchased a farm for biosolid disposal, so next time you go to the bathroom, you can breathe easy that the sewer district was losing their land in Marriott Sladeville where all the solid waste is being disposed. Not sure when that's going away, but it's imminent. So now the sewer district has more land than we would ever need to dispose of all of our waste, which is a great thing. Not to mention it's going 100 miles away instead of just a few miles away, which is good and bad. The wind will never blow it down here, or any way we can tell, some people get some wind and it's not that pleasant, but won't be a problem. It's all the way up in Snowville, but it also increases the shipping costs. However, it's going to result in most likely years of stable and potentially even reduced sewer expenses for the citizens of the district. As you guys know, they reduced the taxes this year, and it wasn't an actual tax reduction, truth in taxation. There was expiring tax payments from a previous bond and they weren't renewed, so effectively, if you saw your bill, my bill went down $100 and some odd dollars from the sewer district, and so that's going to be a thing going on for the long term. But it was crazy, scary for a little while, but it was good. Gary?
No, I'm good.
Okay, very good.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming.
All right.